Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everyone. I think I'm going to release these videos on Christmas. If I don't, that'll be a weird intro. I'm the Serious JG, and I haven't had a ludicrous sexy cheesecake game on my channel in a long time. It's the Christmas season, and I was playing Warriors Orochi 3, which features characters from various different Tecmo Koei franchises. And I got to admit, it worked. Playing around with some of the characters from that game got me to think it might be fun to get a game that I hadn't really intended to buy, even though it shows up, as PlayStation Network fans will know, every time you're browsing looking for new content related to your own games, you'll see a million available pay-to-download costumes for Dead or Alive 5. So let's spend the Christmas with the fictional sexy ladies. Because why wouldn't you? Anyway, Dead or Alive is a series. It is a fighting game. I played Dead or Alive 4 long ago. Sometime after Dead or Alive 4, they came out with Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, which was really silly. And a lot of people are like, this is ridiculous. This game is just basically a bunch of jiggling breasts. To which, the only logical response was, well, yeah, they're trying to make money. So Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball was like, basically, they had a fighting franchise with, I think at one point had roughly the same number of male and female characters, and was like a serious attempt at a fighting franchise where part of what they were doing with look at the advanced graphics we have on the whatever system the first Dead or Alive came out for. I don't remember if it was I want to say it was polygonal era, so it might have been a PlayStation 2 game, but I feel like for some reason or PlayStation, but I want to say for some reason it was one of those weird systems that nobody owned, like TurboGrafx or a Sega Saturn or something. And as you can tell by my dedication to research, I don't know anything about the history of the series. I just picked it up and started playing it with the fourth game for funsies. And my ignorance of what the fuck the storyline to this game actually is will be clear to you as we play. So it's checking whether I've downloaded a bunch of stuff. This game, if you just buy the game... Oh, I'm superhuman. This game, if you just go out and buy the actual game, this is a little loud in my headset. This is actually the first thing. I'm way off on a tangent already. This is actually the first recording I'm doing with my new desktop, because as some of you who follow my channel know, I had my desktop die, and that's why my uninterrupted string of Romance of Three Kingdoms videos was actually interrupted. But this is the game that I'm picking up and playing first, because I picked this up. PlayStation didn't stop working, I just didn't record. So in my offline gaming life, I actually started playing this game and found that it was actually a lot of fun. And I was playing it when I couldn't record, and it has a story mode. And that's the main reason I think I can actually LP this game. Because... way back in the day, I Let's Played Rumble Roses, and that was a fun game to LP because it was very, very silly. And it had a story. And people asked me to Let's Play Rumble Roses XX, which I have that game, but I never Let's Played it because it doesn't have a story. It's just an endless series of, matches with no story behind it. This game has a story, which is incredibly silly, and that's why I intend to play it. So... it stops when you get off the menu screen, thank God. But when you're on the menu screen, the game is constantly trying to convince you to go to the PlayStation Store and spend more money downloading costumes that the characters in the game can wear. And as you can tell by the Season Pass 5 available now, and the check out the DLC summer kimono thingy, the costumes are mostly for the female characters. The game isn't actually all if you actually go into the game and choose a character, I have been playing around with the game somewhat offline. the game has a bunch of characters. Now, if you buy the bare bones game online, it doesn't have all of the characters. So I went ahead and bought the version of the game that has all the characters. Didn't really think about this, but the story mode is also it's basically it's a big DLC money pit, because you can buy a basic game. It has some subset of these characters. I don't know, because when I decided I wanted to play the game, I decided from Jump Street that I was actually going to get all the characters and like fuck just playing around with a few of them. So I went ahead and paid for the characters and the story mode, which is like the premium edition you can buy. I guess there may be a free version of the game you can get, which doesn't have all this stuff. But, I mean, here's your default character is some chick with big boobs, right? Then you've got a freaky chick. And this chick is actually, and this is what little story the game has, centers around an evil company that at one point took the DNA of Kasumi, who is apparently like the greatest fighter in the world, even though she looks like a pinup model, and used that to create this like weird clone with like enhanced powers. And it's like this is like the final boss of Dead or Alive 4, no matter what character you play as. Dead or Alive 4 had slightly different story modes for each character who had story mode. This game has one story mode, and you switch back and forth between characters. You don't get to choose one character and play through their whole story, and therefore the story is actually significantly longer. It's like the jump from DW5 to DW7. It's a much longer story, but it's not a different story for every character. So you got Hot Chick McGee, you got Evil Clone, then you have like, hey, there's a guy. So at some point, the Dead or Alive series was like a normal fighting game where you had different characters, and some subset of the roster was made up of chicks who are sexy, which has been a thing in fighting games all along. But then it's like, okay, now we've got another hot chick. Now we've got another hot chick. Now we've got another hot chick. Now we've got, hey, it's a guy. Then it's hot chick, a guy, two guys, three guys in a row. What's going on? Hot chick. So, back to normal. Warriors Orochi 3 featured, the default hot chick. It featured Ayane, who's, a hot chick who has some kind of rivalry with Kasumi. It featured Hayabusa, who may or may not be supposed to be the ninja from Ninja Gaiden. I'm really not sure, because I've never played those games. And Dead or Alive... Warriors Orochi 3 also features Rachel, but I think Rachel is actually in this game as like an add-on character, because she never appears in the story mode, and I think she's actually from some other Tecmo game that I haven't played and I'm not familiar with at all. So that's kind of what it is. You get... The story mode features characters from the first row and a couple of characters in the second row, and then there's a couple of characters in the second row who never appear in the story mode, actually, just the only one that I think never appears in the story mode is Nanayo Tengu, who I believe... Her moveset, I've played as her. She's a pretty powerful character. I'm thinking she must have been the final boss of an earlier game or something, because she doesn't appear in the story at all. And she has air throws, which most of the other characters don't have, or they do have, and I don't know how to do them. Same deal with this guy. This guy's got to be the final boss of some previous Dead or Alive game, but I have no idea who the fuck he's supposed to be, and he doesn't show up in the story mode, but he's got hair chest. Naotora Lee is a character that you pay extra to download and doesn't come with the main game, and is from Samurai Warriors. And Shiranui Mai is a character that you pay to download, and doesn't appear in the story, and she's from King of the Fighters, which I guess Tecmo Koei owns King of the Fighters? I'm not sure who owns King of the Fighters these days. So you got other characters. Here's a cute little schoolgirl who doesn't appear in the main story. Other cute little girl who doesn't appear in the story. Momoji, oh, that's right, she's in Warriors Orochi, but I think she is actually from some other series, and she might be from the same game Rachel is in, or she might be from the Ninja Gaiden games. Here's a character who doesn't appear in the story who is male, which is very unusual, because This game throws in extra characters for you to download and extra costumes for you to pay money to download, and guess what? It's almost always sexy, sexy ladies. So the different characters have different outfits. Here's La Mariposa, who is, of course, the sister of Marty the Moth Martinez. And you can cycle through outfits. In some outfits, she is not wearing a mask, and she is known as Lisa, so presumably her actual name is Lisa. She appears in the story mode as Lisa, and never appears in the story mode as La Mariposa, so La Mariposa must be something from a previous game. And there you go. There's a whole game. It's a fighting game. When you play in arcade mode, it's best 2 out of 3 rounds. Story mode doesn't... I can't remember if story mode works that way, because I played the story mode a couple of weeks ago. And I'm now going back to it for this Let's Play. So, Season Pass 5, and that's the fucking crazy thing. I'm going to get to the game in a minute, but it's a huge DLC money pit, because it's got a bunch of costumes that you can download, and you pay by the costume to download them, and you can save money by downloading all of the, for example, they keep showing these kimonos. You can get, like, the kimono pack, which includes a bunch of kimonos for all the girls. Or you can buy kimonos individually. And if you buy all the kimonos individually for each girl, it comes out to more than it would have been to buy them as a pack. Makes some sense. But there's something called Season Passes, and I guess this game has been out for longer than I thought, because there are 5 Season Passes. Each Season Pass means that you get all of the costumes that came out over an entire period, plus any new characters that are released for exhibition mode only. 1 second, please. But the fucking Season Passes, there's 5 of them, and they're $99 each. It's insane. If you want all of the costumes in this game, and each Season Pass comes with 1 costume that cannot be downloaded unless you get the Season Pass. You got Nayu Tengu, who we mentioned before, wearing some kind of like slutty low-cut blouse. You can't get that costume. You can't just say, I really want to like fight as this character in that costume. Oh my god, so hot. I'm going to just buy that costume for like $1.99 or whatever. No. The only way to get that one, there's also like the blonde chick with the pony, not ponytail, what do you call them? Pigtails? There's something with her in like a skin-tight fetish leather outfit. You'd have to pay $99 for that. It's insane. And there's 5 of them. So let's say that for some bizarre reason you wanted this game on your Xbox and on your PlayStation, and you want all the costumes, you would have to spend over $1,000. That's not sane. Speaking of not sane, let's go through the story mode of this game, because this game is basically a bunch of like cheesecake hot chicks, and the story is written to the level of Rumble Roses, essentially. There's a big fighting tournament going on, but there's also an evil plot to destroy the world, and we got to get to the bottom of it, and the only way to do that is to start the game from the beginning. Yeah, thank you for calling upon the horror of war to set the stage for your cheesecake jiggle physics. You have the option of setting realistic or exaggerated boob bouncing. That really is an option. And they're going to use the horror of war to set the stage for us. Introducing the character of Bayman, who's some dude. Don't shoot the little kid now. Huh. That kid posed no threat to my elite military unit. I'm Maxwell Cougar, and I've just been murdered by something that was moving really fast and using point-of-view shot. At the same time he's being murdered, there's a hot chick fighting the character. The game's only black guy.
What they say about you is true. You're not half bad.
You're all
Can you
bad.
beat me though? That's the real question.
She's gonna kick you right in the nuts, man. Execute a nut kick. So this is the most button smashy of all button smashy games. I mean, there are tactics you can use, There are counter throws you can execute. Most of the time, it's simply to your advantage to just press the attack buttons. You can throw. It usually just leaves you open to getting beaten up. You can try to counter. Doesn't work half of the time. I was trying to show you a throw, and I almost lost. So I went back to hitting the punch and kick buttons and won. That's pretty much how the game works. My name's Mila, but I like to put the word Victoria all over everything. I'm also really sweaty. I turned off dirt. The game has you can select on or off sweat. You can select on or off exaggerated boob physics. I turned off dirt because after a while, like, I just noticed the characters all looked really dirty, and it was bothering me. Because you fight sometimes outdoors and get dirt on you. So, back to what seems to be the actual story, because there was a story with some soldiers being attacked by a mysterious figure, and then we took a brief break to watch someone beat up a black guy. So far, we have yet to actually have gameplay involving this mysterious cloaked figure who's destroying elite soldiers with ease. But I'm sure that's coming at some point. Meanwhile, Freedom Survivor a few days later. Freedom Survivor, I guess, is a boat.
But no such report has reached me yet.
Like hell it hasn't. That's not something any normal person could pull off. He had to be
That
involved
outfit,
in
I mean.
dawn.
No one could wear that outfit and pull that off.
Well, at least you came back. We are all very grateful about that.
I don't believe you. You're making fun of me. I have feelings,
In
you know.
any case, Doetek has no involvement.
Okay, you can't pause during cinematics. Doatech, I assume, stands for Dead or Alive Tech. It is... Okay, the one thing I did pick up about this game, like anything you're supposed to already know heading into the story that I was able to figure out by playing through the game itself, I'll tell you. And in the fourth game, I vaguely remember that when you play as this blonde woman here, at the end, she blows up this building where, because you fight in a tournament and you fight a bunch of matches that have nothing to do with any kind of story, and then at the end you find yourself in some secret lab where some evil people explain that they've created a clone of Kasumi, the hot ninja chick that we saw back at the menu screen, and they're going to use it to take over the world, muhaha. When you play as this chick, actually I guess if you play as anybody, there might be a cinematic where she blows the whole thing up. And that's because she owns the company Doatech, and Doatech was secretly doing evil shit because of some people that were doing evil shit that she didn't know about. So she decided to blow up the company, I guess. But now I guess the company is back, and she's telling this guy that they're not doing evil stuff, and he doesn't believe her. This guy, by the way, I have absolutely no recall of him in the previous game. I'm sure he was in it. I just don't know who he is or what's going on. So let's get back to it.
At least not yet. Do you understand? Or were you hoping for something else?
Like boobies. That's what most of these game players are hoping for.
So you're saying that whatever the people who have left Doatech do on their own is none of your concern. Is that right? Whatever. By the way, is that girl your messenger now?
This game doesn't have any girls. What are you talking about? We should get some more accented characters in here. Perhaps a comic relief Scotsman.
Ooh, hey, hot ninja chick.
Put some
Helena.
clothes on. Get out of my office until you are wearing some clothes.
Tell me. Where is my clone? Where is Alpha?
None of your business.
Kasumi.
Where is she? Tell me, I beg you.
Are you hoping to become friends?
I need to find her. And put an end to this.
I guess she's not looking to become
I
friends.
honestly do not know. Alpha 152 was Doetech's ultimate combat life form. A one-of-a-kind asset.
Speaking of asset.
Do not worry. She will be found. I promise, Kasumi.
Meanwhile, even just putting on some pants would be a big improvement.
You know, dear, we still have some time before we reach the dock. Try to get some rest.
How did she ninja her way onto a boat anyway? I mean, I'm assuming she just popped up uninvited because she's a ninja and that's how they roll, but...
Donovan, what are you planning now?
I think he was the evil guy from the last game. Again, not 100% clear on much of anything. Oh, maybe that's how she ninja'd her way onto the boat with her ninja helicopter.
So, it's been a while, hasn't it, bro?
Oh, and by the way, the only black character is Zany Comic
No
Relief.
idea. Maybe she's trying to set you up with
So,
something.
yeah, that's a thing.
Set me up.
Ninjas lead up too, bro.
Aw, don't worry about it. I'm sure she's done with all her experiments. Can you believe it's already been 2 years?
Since
It
the
was
last
nuts.
game.
The mighty ninja assault on Dotech headquarters? The raging gun battle? The 3,000-foot high tri-tower going up in flames? Dotech.
Previous gen graphics.
Yeah, now that Ellen has taken the place over, it's back in business. You know, I've actually been doing some work for them, and they've really turned over a new leaf. Oh, we have arrived.
Time to force you to play beach volleyball against your will. I believe the plot of Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball was comic relief black guy lured the women to an island under false pretenses and forced them to play beach volleyball. Meanwhile, in front of Taylor's
Damn,
bar,
she's getting rusty.
the outlaw Ron
Must be the
Bass.
sea air.
Yo, what the hell were you thinking,
God, they
Bass?
concentrated all the male characters into one scene.
How'd you bring your hog with you out here in the middle of the ocean, man?
His character's name is Rig. He works on an
It ain't
oil
gonna do
rig,
you any good here,
and
is
his
it?
name is Rig.
Hey, what do you mean it won't do me any good out here?
Pointless fight.
Apologize for insulting my baby.
Pointless fight, which has no reason to have.
Get ready, fight.
So if the idea was that he didn't really want to fight, I'm not really capturing that very well by making him just go ape shit on this dude. So I'm trying to counter just to show it, but it kind of... It's one of those things where you counter with different button inputs depending on whether it's a punch or a kick and whether it's aimed high, low, or in the middle, so it's kind of hard to counter. On to the next pointless fight, which will be brought about for no reason.
Nice workout, huh? I'd say we earned ourselves a stiff drink, right, Bass?
Now that I've broken your nose.
I sure am beat.
Come on, buddy. Don't have hard feelings about the fact that you need help to walk for the next month. Meanwhile, back at Hot Ninja,
Kasumi.
St.
Hayate.
Cloud.
It's certainly been a while. What an honor this is. The 18th master of the Mugen Tenshi ninja clan.
He is presumably one of you two.
Apologies for troubling you.
Hayate, listen to me. There's something I feel I have to finish.
The
So, give me a
whereabouts
minute, I'll
of
be right
Alpha
back.
152 are still unknown. It's quite dangerous for Kasumi to be on her own.
And not wearing pants.
Kasumi. This concerns our whole clan. You shouldn't bear this burden alone.
I
No,
have
brother.
sensitive guy voice.
This is my fight, and no one else's.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. So their brother and sister pieced this together over the course of the game. The backstory, presumably the plot of a previous Dead or Alive game, was that he went missing, and it was against the law of the clan for her to leave their super secret ninja village to find him, but she did. And she found him and rescued him, and he was being held captive by an evil company that sponsored the tournament, and they were experimenting on him. And which is why it was so shocking when it turns out they made a clone of her. So it's like, yeah, she broke the rules of their clan and is now ostracized, but she did it for good reasons, and he probably feels really guilty about it. and the other ninja character who we'll be seeing eventually, who has purple hair for some reason, hates Kasumi for betraying the clan and seems to have a secret crush on this guy. So there you go. It's such an in-depth story. Why did you call me out here? Just so that she could, not listen to my advice or whatever? Well, there you go. That's actually the first section of the game. So, because I already played through the game, this screen is here. But in fact, the way the game works is it's a little weird. All this nonsense here is because of... These generally represent a battle, although in fact, a couple of these only represent cinematics. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the sequences that we've seen so far. Their placement vertically on the screen indicates where they fall in the timeline, because eventually we'll get down and we'll do 6, 7, 8, because they'll give us a couple of things in a row to do as Kasumi, and then we jump over and play as this woman, and then we keep going. So... it's a kind of confusing story, which isn't particularly great to begin with, and they tell it out of sequence. Kasumi has 2 different story modes, because we come back to her at the very end. We start with her, and then we come back to her at the very end, although, in fact, if I remember correctly, we're jumping around with what character we play as all the freaking time at the very end. So really, it's just they give you a couple of... They give you a couple of fights in a row as one character or as a team, because sometimes you play as 2 characters and fight 2 other characters. And it's... My thoughts are that just when you're getting used to playing as one character, they make you switch to someone else. So, but it's nice. At least it means we get to see different characters throughout the course of the story mode. You get 5 hot chicks in a row before it suddenly switches over to a long glut of playing as men, which I was mildly surprised by, and then eventually the story picks up. So it's weird. The story kind of tries to pretend that this is not a cheesecake game, despite the outfits that Helena and Kasumi are wearing in those scenes. But then when you actually back out to the main menu, it does nothing but slam you with ads to go download sexy costumes for the women to wear. So that's the thing. Anyway, I'm going to call it a video here. This is, as I said, this is the first video I've recorded on my new setup, so I need to make sure it's actually all working. When we come back, I don't know if I'll do this as a Christmas special or not. I said ho, 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 Merry Christmas, but this would be an awfully long Christmas special if I do it that way. Either way, when we come back, folks, we'll be waiting. And we'll be playing as Kasumi, but who's the mysterious woman looking at Kasumi in this shot? We'll find out next time.